Ever wondered why Europe's skyline feels so different from America's? Fly over New York or Chicago, and you'll see forests of glass towers touching the clouds. But when your plane descends over Paris, Rome, or Prague, the view changes completely. No endless skyscrapers, just a carpet of historic rooftops and centuries-old architecture. So, why is Europe missing its skyscrapers? The answer isn't as simple as they don't like tall buildings. It's a fascinating mix of history, culture, money, and law. Let's rewind. Europe is old, really old. Cities like Athens, Rome, or Paris were already thriving when the Americas were still wilderness. Streets were built centuries ago, long before cars, let alone cranes and skyscraper foundations. That means European cities grew around castles, cathedrals, and narrow medieval streets. By the time modern skyscraper technology arrived in the late 19th century, European cities were already packed and historically priceless. Compare that to the US. Most of its big cities exploded during the 19th and 20th centuries, right when steel frame construction was booming. Americans had blank canvases. Europeans had priceless paintings they couldn't just paint over. Then came the 20th century. Two world wars devastated Europe. Cities like Warsaw, Berlin, and Dresden were flattened. But here's the surprising part. When it was time to rebuild, most cities didn't choose skyscrapers. They chose tradition. Warsaw reconstructed its old town, brick by brick. Dresden rebuilt its Baroque churches. In other words, Europe used destruction as a chance to preserve history, not rewrite it. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, American cities just kept building higher and higher. This brings us to culture. For Europeans, beauty isn't about height. It's about heritage. Think about it. Paris without the Eiffel Tower's dominance would still be Paris. The real charm is the uniform houseman-style buildings. Rome without St. Peter's Basilica dominating the skyline would feel wrong. Europeans value harmony more than dominance. Skyscrapers, by design, scream for attention. And in cities layered with history, attention is already claimed by cathedrals, palaces, and monuments. But culture isn't just emotional. It's written into law. Many European cities have strict regulations that literally forbid skyscrapers. Paris, for example, banned buildings taller than 37 meters for decades. That's why the Tour Montparnasse, a lone 210-meter skyscraper built in the 1970s, was so hated that it triggered a new wave of height restrictions. To this day, Parisians joke that the best view of the city is from the Montparnasse Tower because it's the only place you can't see the Montparnasse Tower. And it's not just Paris. In Rome, laws protect sightlines of St. Peter's Dome. In Prague, UNESCO regulations protect the historic skyline from modern intrusions. Even London, one of the few European cities that embraced skyscrapers, keeps them away from St. Paul's Cathedral's view corridor. Now, let's talk money. Skyscrapers are insanely expensive. They only make sense where land prices are sky high and where vertical growth is the only way forward. In Manhattan, a square kilometer of land is worth billions of dollars. That forces developers to build upward. But in Europe, cities are dense, but not in the same way. Land prices rarely justify the massive cost of skyscrapers. Instead, spreading outward or redeveloping old buildings makes more economic sense. Plus, Europe's economy doesn't rely on corporate mega headquarters the way America does. In the US, skyscrapers are status symbols for banks, tech giants, and law firms. Europe is more decentralized. Businesses spread across cities, not concentrated in one or two downtown cores. And there's another practical reason: foundations. Many European cities literally sit on ancient ruins. Digging deep enough to anchor a 300-meter skyscraper often means running into archaeological treasures. Imagine trying to build a tower in Athens and hitting a 2,000-year-old temple underground. Construction stops, archaeologists move in, and suddenly your skyscraper project is a museum site. So, why doesn't Europe build skyscrapers? Because Europe already has something taller than glass and steel: time. Every old cathedral, every medieval street, every Renaissance palace is a reminder that Europe's identity is rooted in history, not height. While America competes for who can touch the clouds first, Europe is busy protecting the stories written in stone. Next time you walk through Paris, Prague, or Rome, look around. You won't see skylines scraping the sky, but you'll feel something skyscrapers can never replicate: continuity with centuries of civilization. In Europe, the skyline isn't a race upward, it's a museum without walls. And maybe that's worth more than any tower of glass. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more fascinating stories about our world, don't forget to subscribe to The Gray Matter.